Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast with Phil Graham. We help you master Facebook ads and give you an unfair advantage over your competition. Are you ready? Let's go.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast, episode 175. I'm Phil Graham. Today, I'm going to be sharing 5 underutilized Facebook audience targeting hacks. And we've used all 5 of these, and for us, they've worked extremely well, and not that many people use these. So I want to share them with you guys so you can test them in your own ads because they've been amazing for us. You guys, I hope you're having a great week. I'm recording this on Monday, September 14th, 2020. You know, I'm excited. Football is back, and the Seahawks got a great win this weekend, so that was a lot of fun. And I hope you guys all had a great weekend yourself, whether you like football or not. I'm excited for the upcoming week ahead. I can't believe we're already in mid-September. Crazy. Time is flying. But I hope you're all doing well. And before we jump into the content, just a brief note, if you want to connect, whether that's maybe you're looking for somebody to either run ads for you or you want one-on-one coaching and mentoring, which is a million times better than a course, then you can reach me on my website, philgrahamdigital.com, or you can DM me on Instagram at philgrahamdigital. Also, if you're looking to either start or grow an ad agency, I've got a free Facebook ads group. Hit me up on Instagram. I'll send you the link to that as well at philgrahamdigital. All right, let's jump right into the content. And one of the things I actually wanted to start talking about before I jumped into the 5 hacks is kind of like the state of the season that we're in when it comes to Facebook ads. So Labor Day's over. Summer is essentially over. I think officially here in here in the US, it's over in about 8 days, but unofficially it's over. We're in mid-September and we are getting into prime time when it comes to shopping online, which is a great thing. So the next 3.5 months can be very, very good. There's so much opportunity out there. So make sure that if you have anything to sell, whether it's a product or service, this is a great time to be out there promoting it in the right way, of course. You want to do it the right way, but you got to make sure that you're out there doing it. Now, when you do that, you also want to make sure that you're giving it enough time to actually work. So many people put ads out there, and within a small period of time, sometimes it's hours, days, or a week, they turn it off if it's not working right away. It's actually normal for Facebook to cycle through an audience and for you to be testing different things. I've seen campaigns that make millions of dollars that took a while to get going. And if we would have turned them off, we never would have made that kind of money. So it's very important to make sure that you give your campaigns time to work. Now, that doesn't mean just run them ongoing and hope for the best. And if it doesn't work, you just keep it running forever, because then you're just wasting money. You've got to be smart about it. You've got to know what to look for when it comes to the data. But I will say that with the thousands of people I've worked with, way more than likely, people are more likely to turn something off sooner than they should than they are to let something run longer than they should. So just kind of keep that in mind and realize that we're in prime time now, you guys. This is a great opportunity. So much stuff is out there for you in terms of success, whether you sell a product or service. So make sure you're leveraging that and taking advantage of that. Okay, so let's jump into the 5 tips. I'm going to keep this episode pretty short and sweet this week. I want to try and keep them as much as possible really actionable for you guys without, going too long on the podcast. So tip number 1, most of you guys have probably heard of this one. And of course, you've probably heard of all of these, but I talk to a lot of people and very few people use any of these. So make sure you're testing these because they are amazing. People should be using them. Number 1 is purchase behavior engaged shoppers. So what engaged shoppers does, I like it because number 1, it's not an interest. Interest targeting can be good, but it's also not that accurate too. Behavior targeting is much more accurate because it's actually based off of behavior that you did. Facebook knows certain things based on how you use Facebook, as well as like credit card data. So behavior targeting is huge. So purchase behavior engaged shoppers means you're targeting people that actually clicked a shop now button from an ad within the last 7 days. So you wouldn't just use that as your only targeting. There's going to be layers of targeting. You're going to kind of get your ideal demographics and audience in there, but then you can narrow that down with engaged shoppers from that group, people that have already clicked a shop now button. And that can give you some great success because those are people that many times are used to buying online. So you can find that in purchase behavior, engaged shoppers under behaviors for targeting. That one is one of my favorites. It works amazing. Doesn't matter if you're selling an e-commerce product or if you're a local business, or maybe you're professional like a dentist or chiropractor or doctor, or you're a coach or consultant. It works great for any and all of those things and really every industry. So make sure you guys try that out. Purchase behavior engaged shoppers. Okay, hack number 2. Not everybody knows this is available, but you can actually target people based off of their political somewhat affiliation. So whether they're conservative, liberal, or moderate. Now, this is not an exact science, but Facebook knows which pages people actually interact with the most. And there's actually 3 different targeting options: conservative, liberal, and moderate. And so what I recommend you do is, we don't talk about politics in our ads. However, depending on your product or service, it might help to actually target specifically conservative versus, doing another campaign for liberal. And you tweak your ad copy based off of who you're targeting. Now, this is going to vary, of course. This one may or may not apply to you, or you might, like if you get creative, all of these can apply to you. But just realize that you can talk to people different ways based off of who you're targeting. And going with political stuff is very, very effective for us. So check that out. Political, conservative, liberal, or moderate are great options for targeting. That's hack number 2. All right, hack number 3. You can target people that have shown interest in an upcoming event in the last week. So not everybody cares about events like Facebook events. So if you're going to do a Facebook event, for example, then wouldn't it be nice to put that event in front of people that actually care about events and have actually within the last week shown interest in one? Maybe said they're going to go to one? How cool would that be? So again, this is the same kind of tactic as the other 2, where you don't just only target those people. You also want to put your demographics in and put your ideal audience in there first, but then you can narrow it by people that are also interested in events. So if you have an event, this is perfect for you. It's definitely a great thing to be running and testing. It's done really well for us. That's hack number 3. All right, on to hack number 4. You've probably heard of this one, but surprisingly, a lot of people know this one, but they don't actually use it. I don't know why, but it's almost too easy when you use this kind of stuff, depending on, if you have something that fits this targeting. You can target people that either have a birthday or an anniversary coming up. Could be this month, it could be next month. You can do it by month, you can do it by coming up in the next 20 days, 30 days, etc. So if somebody has a birthday coming up or an anniversary, you can literally target that person. That's amazing. Imagine if you sell any kind of a gift type of product. That's like so cool to be able to target somebody with a birthday coming up or an anniversary. So make sure you consider testing that. Even if you're somebody like a consultant or coach, you can still gear the ad copy to that and say, hey, if you ever, were thinking about giving a great birthday present, giving yourself the gift of learning this, for example, that would be great. You could really tailor that ad copy to that type of targeting. Now, not only can you target people that actually have a birthday or anniversary coming up themselves, another option is to target people that are friends of people that have a birthday or anniversary coming up. Now, that can be even better because if you are friends with somebody who's going to have a birthday or anniversary, guess what? Well, if you're a good friend, you're probably going to get them some kind of a gift, right? So just showing an ad and directing an ad in front of the people that have friends that are going to have birthdays is a great tactic. Again, very few people use this for some reason. And don't think you have to be e-commerce to use it. You can absolutely do this no matter what kind of business you are. So that's another great targeting hack. And then my fifth and final targeting hack for today, and there's a lot more, but I want to keep these actionable, so I don't want to give you too much in one show. I'm calling this one my Philly special, the Philly special. So what I do is I start with my ideal audience. Now, this could be local if you're a local business, or it could be literally global, either one. But you start with your ideal audience as a targeting option, and then you layer on a second option, not even an option, it's actually a second layer, not as an either or, but you narrow it by this second layer. And so what I typically do is I'll get my ideal audience, and then I can layer another layer that my copy in the ad will absolutely match. So for example, I'm just going to kind of throw out a random example. Let's say you were a dentist. You wanted to advertise locally to people in your area. You would essentially set up your demographics and your location and, maybe do a 5-mile radius around your location and whatever other, targeting options you're going to do. But then you can also narrow that by one thing. And that one thing could be many different things. Like you could choose from a variety of options. You could use sports, you could use fashion, you could use something that's local, you could use like state specific things. There's so many options. So in my example, let's say you're a dentist in Seattle, all right? You can actually run an ad to your ideal audience, but then narrow that down to say that they also have to like, let's say, Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks football team. And it's only going to show that to people from your audience that also like the Seahawks and Russell Wilson. And then what I would do is in the ad, I would also talk about Russell Wilson. I would maybe talk about his work ethic and the fact that he comes in before everybody else does and leaves after. And maybe you're a dentist that has the same kind of work ethic and that you never stop learning and you're always learning the new techniques and it's important to you to serve your audience. It has to make sense. But if you have a bridge like that in your ad copy that matches specifically the kind of people you're targeting and what they like, that puts you ahead of like 99% of the rest of the world because nobody does that kind of stuff. Now you can do that with sports teams, like I said. They could be teams or players. It could be any sport. You could do it with fashion. You could do it with celebrities. You could do it with states. Maybe you're advertising, a consulting service, and you can narrow it down by just targeting people in Texas for one ad and talk about Texas in your ad. And you could do another ad talking about New York. You're not limited to just one thing. And then you have your ad copy match specifically who you're targeting. We call it the Philly special. It's one of my secret weapons, and it works extremely well. Now, obviously, you've got to write a good ad copy. It's got to make sense. You've got to have the right ideal audience in there, and then you've got to retarget in a smart and correct way. But when you do these kinds of things, when you implement this kind of targeting and use these hacks, it can work extremely well. So definitely make sure you guys try these out if you're running any kind of Facebook ads. And if you're listening to this, I hope you are running some ads because it's a great time of year to do it. And there's tons of opportunity. And if you have any questions, again, you can hit me up on my website, philgrahamdigital.com, or just DM me on Instagram at philgrahamdigital. Let's connect. You guys, episode 175 is in the books. I hope you have a great rest of the week. I'm excited to see you next week. We'll actually talk to you next week in our next episode. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate your time. Peace out.
Thanks for listening to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast. Please remember to subscribe and share this with all your friends. For show notes, more tips, and to learn more about Phil, please visit philgrahamdigital.com/podcast.